On July 15, Eala will return to Manila for a fan meet at the Glorieta Activity Center. Not for a trophy ceremony, not for a political event, not for a concert. Thousands of fans will have the chance to welcome home a 21-year-old tennis player whose career has changed the way the Philippines sees the sport. 8 years earlier, Eala left home at 13 to train in Spain. There was no guarantee that the move would work. There was no professional Filipino tennis star waiting to show her the final steps. There was only a young player, a family willing to sacrifice, and a dream that still looked impossibly far away. That is the distance behind this homecoming. A quiet departure in 2018. A public celebration in 2026. What happened between those two moments? How did a child who left the Philippines to develop her game become the player who defeated the defending Wimbledon champion on center court? And what did it cost her to create a path that had never existed in quite this form before? The answer does not begin with Wimbledon. It begins with family. Eala started playing tennis when she was 4 years old. She watched her grandfather and her older brother Miko play. She wanted to join them. Soon, practice became part of her daily life. After school, they returned to the court. No cameras. No international headlines. No crowd waiting for the next point. Only repetition. One ball. One rally. One more afternoon. The Philippines has produced great athletes in many sports, but it is not a traditional global tennis power. The elite development pathway is smaller. Major tournaments are rare. Young players have fewer local examples of what a successful professional journey can look like. Eala did not grow up following a complete map. She was helping create one. Her talent became impossible to ignore. After success at Les Petites as one of the best-known junior events in the world, she earned the opportunity to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. In 2018, at 13 years old, she moved to Spain. That decision is easy to romanticize after the results arrive. It was much harder in real life. She was leaving her family routine, her school environment, her country, and the people who had built her earliest connection to tennis. Spain offered stronger competition, deeper coaching, and better facilities. It did not offer certainty. An academy can create opportunity. It cannot promise a ranking. It cannot remove loneliness. It cannot protect a young athlete from losing, doubt, injury, or the possibility that years of work might still fall short. Eala accepted that uncertainty. Her junior career brought important proof. She won Grand Slam doubles titles at the Australian Open and Roland Garros. In 2022, she became the first Filipina to win a junior Grand Slam singles title when she lifted the US Open trophy. That victory showed that she could succeed on a major stage. But junior success does not guarantee a professional breakthrough. The adult tour is faster, stronger, and less forgiving. Ranking points decide access. One loss can mean another week of travel, another qualifying draw, and another tournament far from the cameras. By 2024, Eala was still waiting to enter a Grand Slam main draw. At Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and the US Open, she reached the final round of qualifying. 3 times, she came within one victory. 3 times, the door closed. That was not complete failure. It was something more frustrating. She was close enough to see the next level, but not close enough to enter it. While Eala kept fighting through qualifying, other young players from her generation were moving faster. Mira Andreeva, whom Eala had defeated in the quarterfinals during her run to the 2022 US Open junior title, was already establishing herself among the best players in the world. Comparison can become cruel in an individual sport. 2 careers can begin near the same point, then move at completely different speeds. By the beginning of 2025, Eala was ranked number 140. She was still talented. She was still improving, but she needed a wild card to enter the Miami Open main draw. That invitation was not charity. It was access. Everything after that still had to be earned. Miami became the tournament that changed her career. Eala defeated Jelena Ostapenko, a Grand Slam champion. Then she defeated Madison Keys, another Grand Slam champion. Then she faced Iga Swiatek, Before Miami, Eala had never beaten a top 40 opponent. Swiatek was ranked number 2 in the world and had already built one of the strongest careers of her generation. The difference in reputation was enormous. On the court, Eala refused to behave like an outsider. She returned from inside the baseline. She attacked the second serve. She used the natural angles of her left-handed forehand. She kept taking the ball early and forced Swiatek to play under constant pressure. Eala won the first set, 6-2. Swiatek recovered and led 4-2 inches the second set. That was the moment when experience could have changed the match. Eala answered by winning 5 of the final 6 games. She completed the victory 6-2 and 7-5. Swiatek won only 2 points behind her second serve during the match. That number revealed the pressure Eala created with her return. It did not prove that she had discovered a secret formula. It proved that she understood how her aggression could make an elite opponent uncomfortable. Eala reached the Miami semi-final after defeating 3 Grand Slam champions. She became the first player from the Philippines to reach a WTA 1000 semi-final. The run also carried her into the top 100 for the first time. Miami gave the tennis world a new name. It did not finish the job. One extraordinary week can change a ranking. A lasting career requires the level to return after opponents study the film and expectations begin to grow. Eala continued moving forward. She reached her first WTA Tour final at Eastbourne. At the US Open, she earned the first Grand Slam main draw victory of her career. Against Clara Towson, she recovered from 5-1 down in the final set and survived a long tiebreak. Later in 2025, she won the WTA 125 title in Guadalajara. By the end of the season, she had entered the top 50. In January 2026, she returned to Manila for the first Philippine Women Open, the first WTA 125 event held in the country. This mattered beyond one result. Eala was no longer only representing Philippine tennis abroad. She was helping bring international professional tennis home. Then came the grass season. In Birmingham, Eala won her second WTA 125 title and her first professional title on grass. She defeated Nicola Bartunkova in a 3-set final, 5-7, 6-3, and 7-5. In Berlin, she reached the semifinal and defeated major opponents on the way. By Wimbledon, she was no longer the unknown wildcard from Miami. She entered as the number 29 seed. The surprise factor was smaller. The expectations were much larger. Eala defeated Renata Zarazua in the first round. She came back to beat Maya Joint in the second round. That created a third meeting with Swiatek. Eala had won in Miami. Swiatek had answered in Madrid. Now they would meet on center court. Swiatek was the defending Wimbledon champion. Eala was attempting to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam for the first time. The opening set lasted 84 minutes. Both players created chances. Both faced pressure. The set moved into a tie-break. Swiatek held set points. Eala refused to retreat. She trusted her forehand. She defended with balance. She continued stepping into the court when the moment demanded courage. Eala won the tiebreak, 11 points to 9. Then she took control of the second set. She moved ahead, 4-0. Swiatek recovered one break and forced a difficult final service game. Eala reached match point. Swiatek resisted. On the third opportunity, Eala struck a forehand winner. The final score was 7-6 and 6-2. The defending champion was out. Eala had become the first player from the Philippines in the Open era to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam. The victory was not a copy of Miami. The surface was different. The pressure was different. Both players had more information. What remained consistent was the courage of Eala to attack. Her return pressure again limited the Swiatek second serve. Her own serve also showed progress. Eala won 55% of the points behind her second serve, while Swiatek won 32% behind hers. Swiatek later explained that the slower rhythm of the Eala serve made clean returning difficult. That did not mean Eala had designed a weapon for one opponent. It meant she had learned how to make her own rhythm useful. That is a major step in the development of a professional player. Young players often try to copy the strengths of champions. Elite competitors learn how to make their own identity difficult to solve. The Wimbledon run ended in the fourth round against Jasmine Paolini. Eala fought through 3 sets before losing 6-4, 4-6, and 6-3. The defeat ended the tournament. It did not erase the history. Back in Manila, around 8,000 people had gathered at Phil Sports Arena to watch that match on a giant screen. They were not watching a final. They were not guaranteed a celebration. They came because Eala had turned one tennis match into a shared national moment. That reaction explains why the July 15 fan meet matters. It is not an official declaration that one athlete has completed her journey. It is a chance for fans to welcome someone who has made Philippine tennis visible in a new way. The event at Glorieta is not important because it proves that sacrifice always leads to success. Life and sport do not work that neatly. It matters because Eala stayed with the process when there was no guarantee of a public reward. She left home at 13. She developed far from her family. She won as a junior. She struggled for access as a professional. She lost at the final stage of Grand Slam, qualifying 3 times in 1 year. She accepted a wild card and turned it into a WTA 1000 semifinal. She returned home to support the first WTA 125 event in the Philippines. She won on grass. Then she defeated the Wimbledon champion on center court. Those moments did not follow a perfect line. They formed a career through patience, adaptation, and repeated risk. That is what young players in the Philippines can now see. Not a slogan, not a fantasy, a real path with difficult years inside it. One player cannot create a complete national tennis system alone. Eala cannot personally build every court, train every coach, or fund every young athlete. But she can change what people imagine. Before her rise, a Filipino child could dream about competing at Wimbledon. Now that child can point to someone who has done it. The responsibility will become heavier from here. Opponents know Eala can defeat champions. They will study her return position. They will attack her serve. They will force her to win when she is expected to win. The surprise that surrounded Miami has largely disappeared. Wimbledon proved that recognition alone is not enough to stop her. The next phase will be about consistency. Can she protect her body through a long season? Can she improve the serve? Can she adjust when opponents take away her favorite patterns? Can she manage the pressure of carrying national attention into every major tournament? Those questions are harder than one upset. They are also more interesting. After the July 15 fan meet, Eala will turn toward the American hard court season and the build toward the U.S. Open. This time, she will not leave the Philippines as an unknown teenager. She will leave as a seeded Grand Slam player, a WTA 125 champion, and the woman who ended the Wimbledon title defense of Iga Swiatek. But the most important difference is not fame. It is evidence. At 13, Eala left with a possibility. At 21, she returns with proof. The homecoming does not close the story. It shows how far the story has already traveled. A young girl once left Manila to find a professional pathway. 8 years later, she comes back after helping create one for everyone watching behind her. The next chapter begins when she leaves again. This time, the world will be waiting.